We have seen some robbery cases, and usually robbers would wear masks or stockings to hide their appearance. But in the case we are going to see today, the robber was completely naked when he robbed, without even wearing socks. At 2 a.m. on June 17th, 2016, a girl in Hezhou, Guangxi province, was walking home alone after singing karaoke with her friends. Suddenly, a man popped up and snatched her bag. The girl instinctively wanted to grab her bag back, but when she saw the robber, she was stunned because he was naked. The girl didn't dare to chase after him, and the guy just ran away. At 9 a.m., the girl went to the police station with her friends to report the case. The local security is very good, and rarely robberies have happened in recent years, let alone a naked robber. Even the police had never heard of it before. The police first suspected that the robber might have mental illness, so they went to the local mental hospital to inquire about the situation and learned that no patients had gone missing or run out at night. Considering that the robber appeared naked outside at night, the police also suspected that the robber might be a homeless vagrant living on the street. Then the police conducted comparisons and investigations on the vagrants near the crime scene, but they didn't get any luck. On the other hand, due to the victim's shock at the time, she didn't see the appearance of the robber clearly, and the incident occurred in a surveillance blind spot, so there was no progress in the case for a while. 20 days later, another girl reported that she was robbed by a naked man.
我还以为是那树枝挂着，然后我就慢扯了一下，然后他就用力扯，一大扯，就突然一个人过来大扯过来，然后当时他抢了包，然后他就跑过这边来，然后我一看是全身是裸的，我就不敢看过去，然后当时我吓傻了，我叫都叫不出来。
The robbery location was only a few hundred meters away from the location of the first robbery. Plus, the robber also committed the crime naked, so the police judged that these two robberies were committed by the same guy. Fortunately, there was a civilian camera near the crime site of the second robbery, so the police immediately retrieved the surveillance video and finally saw the figure of the naked man. From the footage, it can be seen that the suspect is a hard-body man. Even though the video image is kind of blurry, we can still see his muscles clearly. After the victims identified it, it was confirmed that this was the person who robbed them. Well, this didn't match the police's previous speculation that the suspect might be a vagrant, as vagrants are generally thin and weak, while the suspect looked strong. Afterward, the police expanded the scope of video surveillance and saw the figure of this naked man again in another surveillance video. When the police searched the scene of the second robbery, they found several caves nearby. As the suspect committed the crime at night and didn't wear any clothes, the police suspected that he might live in caves at night. Therefore, the police then focused on investigating these caves nearby. In the following days, more than 10 police officers searched all caves every night. When they encountered any suspicious person, they questioned them. However, there was no result still. The police also took the photo of the suspect to compare his face on the public security network, but there was no match, indicating that the suspect had no criminal record. So the case had been going nowhere for a while. Around 11 p.m. on July 28th, another robbery occurred, with the crime scene only about 10 meters away from where the second robbery occurred. This time, the victim provided the police with a characteristic of the robber, which was that when the robber ran away, the victim saw a clear mark on his left butt cheek, which should be a birthmark. However, this clue provided by this girl was practically useless. It's not like the police could use it to identify the suspect. Therefore, except for the unclear image of the suspect, there were no other clues for the police. At this time, a police captain came up with a new way to solve the case, which was to seek the help of the masses. There is a group of retired women in the local area who often hang out together, singing, dancing, and gossiping. Sometimes they organize some activities like performance in the communities. They have a lot of contacts and even know about the family situations of nearby residents. So the police showed some of the women the naked man's photo. First of all, the police wanted to warn them to be on guard, and the second was to see if they knew the man. Soon, the robber's photo spread among the group. One woman recognized him after seeing it and said that he sometimes did exercise near a public square during the day, but he was wearing clothes. So the police searched for the suspect in the square during the day and kept searching in the caves at night. Finally, a few days later, they saw the suspect chatting with several men in the square. So the police immediately arrested him and brought him back to the police station. The suspect quickly confessed to his crimes. For the reason why he was naked when he robbed, he said like this.
都是给女孩看啊，女孩子都不敢看啊，脱了衣服。
就算女孩子不敢看，然后你觉得就好抢一点，是这个想法吗？
我也去抢啊。
Before each robbery, he would observe the surrounding environment and only attack in places without cameras. He first hid in the cave and waited for a victim to appear before taking off his clothes and running out to rob. Then he returned to the cave and put on his clothes. The robber named Zuo Jun was born in 1987. He is the youngest child in his family, with a sister and a brother. His parents had been working out of town, and he lived with his grandmother when he was a kid. Zuo has an unusually long tongue, which causes him to lisp when he speaks, and he got picked on at school because of this. Therefore, he dropped out of school in the 3rd grade. At the age of 12, Zuo came to the city where his parents worked and lived with them. Zuo began to work when he turned 18. At first, he worked very hard, but after half a year, he suffered from prolapse of rectum. His parents took him to see many doctors, but his condition didn't get any better. Due to his illness, Zuo became depressed and lost interest in everything. He didn't want to work and often quit his job after working for 1 month because he felt tired. The jobs he found were all provided with food and accommodation, usually with a salary of about 800 yuan. As soon as he got his salary, he would buy a new mobile phone with around 700 yuan and spend the rest money on cigarettes. When the salary was spent up, he would sell the phone at a low price. In this way, he bought and sold 10 mobile phones a year. When he was out of a job and had no income, he asked his parents for money. Zuo is very shy and not good at dealing with girls. His sister said that he dared not look into their eyes when talking to girls. Zuo had only been in love once and bought many gifts for the girl, but he never got to hold her hands. 4 years ago, Zuo returned to his hometown with his parents, but he still didn't last long in every job he took, either because he found the work too hard or the salary too low. Once, when he was doing a painting job, the supervisor asked him to do it faster. He couldn't stand the supervisor talking to him with this attitude and quit. Before the crime, Zuo lived at his parents' home. Most of the time when he didn't have a job, he spent his time on the phone. As he gets older, his family begins to worry about his getting married. Due to his not outstanding personal conditions, it is difficult to find a partner for him. Once, he met a girl through a family introduction, and their parents began to set a wedding date after 1 month of the young couple met. However, near the wedding, the girl backed out. This incident had been hard on Zuo. He lay in bed for several days, not going out or eating. Until 1 year before the crime, Zuo met his wife Zhang through a family introduction, and they got married pretty soon. One of Zhang's eyes is almost blind, and she has a 3-year-old son with her ex-girlfriend. It's not so much that they got married because they love each other, but more like Zuo's parents spend money to get him a wife. Even so, Zuo was very happy. On the day of their wedding, he told his sister to find him a job and that he would work hard this time. However, Zuo quit the job after a few days and then stayed at home every day. His wife didn't work either, so Zuo, his wife, and his stepson relied on his parents for expenses. Shortly after their marriage, Zuo's wife became pregnant, which means that the family of 3 would become 4, but Zuo still didn't want to work. In order to get Zuo to work, his mother said that if he didn't work, she would kick them out of the house and wouldn't give him any money. This made Zuo very anxious, and he thought about robbing for money. After 5 months of his wife being pregnant, they began to sleep in separate rooms. From then on, he began to go out at night to rob. In the end, Zhuo was sentenced to 8 years in prison for robbery.